Okay, good afternoon, students. Today we will learn about the t-test. This is basically the mean difference test. Is my PowerPoint visible to all of you? No, not. I am sharing the screen. Please you tell me. Is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir. Good
Okay,
afternoon.
Shreyashi, please you read. Shreyashi, are you here? Okay, Kavita.
Yes, sir.
Yes, actually, I have some network connections issue. So just give me a moment, huh? Just give me a moment. So kindly let anyone else read for the moment, please.
Okay, Kavita, please read it.
Yes, sir. Introduction. Statistical states are used to determine whether there is a significant difference between groups or condition in a study. The mean difference test specifically focuses on comparing the average scores or values between two or more groups or conditions. Number two, for instance, in a study comparing with effectiveness of two teaching methods on examination score, a mean difference test would assess whether there is a significant disparity in the average scores between two groups of students taught using different methods. Various statistical states can be employed to evaluate mean difference depending on the factors such as the nature of the data, example, continuous or categorical, and the study design, example, independent groups or repeated measures. Examples of mean difference tests include the independent samples, t-test, paired sample, t-test, analysis of variance, ANOVA, and non-parametric alternatives like the Mann-Whitney U-test and Wilcoxon signed rank test. In summary, the mean difference test is a statistical analysis used to determine if there is a significant discrepancy in the average values between groups or conditions in a study.
Correct. So now in research, sometimes our tendency will be to examine whether there is any significant difference between the two groups or between the two different conditions. Sometimes we have this type of question. For example, I have given you the value questionnaire-based data. There you will find that is two classifications are there. One is the gender-wise difference, male or female. Another one is the education-wise difference, graduate and postgraduate. So in this connection, what type of statistical test we can do. Since the data are collected following the random sampling procedure from the managers as well as from the teachers in management, we can use the independent sample t-test. There are two broad categories of t-test. One is the independent sample t-test, another one is the paired sample t-test. Or you can say dependent sample t-test. In case of the paired sample t-test, the assumption is that the data were collected twice from the same sample within a specific interval. For example, in case of experimental research related to pre and post experimental research, or in case of the psychological test construction, we are following the test-retest reliability. In that context, also we can use the paired sample t-test. And if we find that there is no difference between the two periods, that means there is a strong association between the two conditions or two periods of the data. So paired sample t-test we can use in experimental condition as well as the psychological test construction. Now, SPSS has some facilities to compute the independent t-test and paired sample t-test. Today, we will learn about this. Okay. Okay, Dakshi, are you here? Hello, Dakshi. Who is here?
So I
Okay,
would like to
Kavita.
read.
Okay, okay. So please read.
Yeah. Both independent and dependent t-tests are statistical methods used to compare means between two groups. However, they are used under different circumstances and assumptions. First, independent t-test. Used when comparing means of two independent groups, that is, groups that are unrelated or not paired. Assumption: data are normally distributed within each group, and variances are approximately equal between groups, that is, homogeneity of variances. Example: comparing the exam scores of two groups of students who underwent different teaching methods. Second, dependent or paired t-test. Used when comparing means of two related or paired groups, that is, the same participants are measured under two different conditions or time points. Assumption: Data are normally distributed and the differences between paired observations are approximately normally distributed. Example, comparing the pre-test and post-test scores of the same group of students who underwent an educational intervention. In both tests, the null hypothesis typically assumes that there is no difference between the means of the groups being compared, and the alternative hypothesis proposes that there is a significant difference. The t-test calculates a t-value which represents the difference between the means standardized by the standard error of the difference. This t-value is then compared to a critical value from the t-distribution to determine statistical significance. In summary, independent t-tests are used to compare means between two independent groups, while dependent t-tests are used to compare means within paired groups or conditions.
Very good. So now it is clear to you that is the difference between the independent and dependent t-test or paired t-test. And you have understood the assumption also in case of the independent t-test and the dependent t-test. In both cases, the assumption is that it should follow the normal distribution. Okay. That is the most important part because these two tests are parametric tests. So we are assuming in case of the independent t-test that both groups were drawn from the normally distributed population. Therefore, the first part is to determine whether your data follows normal distribution or not. That is the QQ plot you can make, or I have already demonstrated you how to plot the histogram with normal distribution. Now I am coming to the data set. So this is the data set that you have also. Here you can find out the variable name, the type of variable with decimal, label, value. I have discussed everything earlier, so you can understand. So this is my data set. Now I am coming to the next stage. Next stage is I have the 5 items measuring self-awareness. Therefore, I have computed the total score, that is TSA, based upon the summation of 5 items. Okay. Is it visible or not? It is clear, no? So here you can find out SA1 plus SA2 plus SA3 plus SA4 plus SA5. So 5 items are there. I have calculated the total score. So the value is called the TSA. Okay. That means total score of self-awareness. That is the first value. Now, after that, I have done the t-test. Here you can find out the syntax. It is very clear, the syntax. I have already told you that t-test is groups equal to gender 1, 2. So 2 groups are there. Male means 1, 2 means female. Okay, and the t-test, I have followed the confidence interval, that is 95%. Okay, so it is called the 0.95 or 0.95. Now X, so this is the data, 24 male and 8 female were there. And here I find that is the self-awareness value. The mean is higher than the female. And the standard deviation, that is high in case of the male. That means within group variability, high. It is 3.35, but in case of the female, it is 2.48. That means within group variability is less among the female, but
Sir,
it is...
screen is not visible, sir. Only syntax, some words are visible.
Oh. Thank you telling me. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
So here you can find out that is the male, 24 male participated and 8 female participated. And the value, particularly the self-awareness value, that is higher, relatively higher than the female. And again, we find the within group variability that is high in case of the male in comparison with the female based upon the standard deviation. And when I have tested the independent t-test, there I have noted that is though the mean wise there is a difference between the two groups, but actually there is no significant difference. It is 0.715. Okay. And you will find that DF is 28. Why 28? Because total number of cases, N is 30. So 30 minus 2. So 1 from male and 1 from female. This is clear how to do.
Sir, the two-tailed, what is sir two-tailed?
Two-tailed test assumes that both sides, okay, there will be the significant difference. In case of the, we are usually follow the one-tailed test because we are assuming one group is greater than the another group. This is our assumption. Therefore, we are following one-tailed test. Now I am going to the next one. This is the dependent t-test or pair t-test. Now, Anthony, can you read?
Dependent t-test. The dependent t-test evaluates whether the mean difference between paired observation is statistically significant. It is often used in experimental and pre-post study design to assess whether there is a significant change in outcomes due to an intervention. Assumption of the dependent t-test includes: first, the data are continuous. Second, the difference between paired observation are approximately normally distributed. Third, the variability of difference remains consistent across the range of observations, that is, almost statistically.
Statisticity.
Fourth, the observations are independent within pairs. The test calculates a t-value based on the mean difference between paired and the standard error of the difference. This t-value is then compared to a critical value from the t-distribution with degrees of freedom equal to the number of pairs minus 1 to determine statistical significance. In summary, the dependent t-test is a useful tool for comparing means between related groups or conditions, particularly in situations where such subject serves as their own control or baseline.
Okay, thank you, Anthony.
Yes, sir.
So we have to keep in mind that in case of the dependent t-test, the data are continuous. Because you have the dependent variable, which is metric in nature. But in case of the independent t-test, we have noted that is the groups are categorical and the dependent variable is metric in nature. So there lies the difference between the two tests. Another one, in case of the dependent t-test, you are collecting data from the same sample twice. In case of the dependent t-test. But in case of the independent t-test, you are collecting data from the sample once. This is the basic difference between the two. In case of the dependent t-test, you can study the correlation because both the data are metric in nature. But this is not possible in case of the independent t-test. Okay, so one is categorical data, another one is the metric data. If you want to find out the correlation, then you have to convert the metric data into the categorical data. I have already told you how to transform the metric data into categorical data. I have demonstrated it. Possibly you can remember this coding, recoding, etc. Now here is a data set, gender, education, test essay and retest essay. It is a hypothetical data set. In SPSS. This part is very important. Please you take photo or you can write down. In case of the paired sample t-test, initially you have to click analyze. After that, compare means. Next is the paired sample t-test. Okay. Here you can find out in compare means one sample t-test, independent sample t-test, summary of independent sample t-test. Next, you will find the paired sample t-test. So you have to click the paired sample t-test. After that, this is the format. Okay. Since it is a paired sample t-test and the two variables are there, variable 1 is test essay and variable 2 is retest essay. So this is the format. You have to follow this format. After that, you have to click OK. When you click OK, this one is I want to show you again. I will show you two things. One is the parametric approach, another one is the non-parametric approach. So first you have to click the analyze. Then compare means. Next, paired sample t-test. Next, these two will be there. After that, OK. When you click OK, is it visible to all of you? No, no. the result. He will get the output. So this is the output. Since it is a hypothetical test, and you have noted that is the mean is same. Test and retest mean is same. Naturally, I have told you that is in case of the paired sample t-test, you can do the correlation also. So here you can find out the correlation is 0.93. Very high, the correlation, and that is significant. That means if you want to do the paired sample t-test, then you have to follow this format. First we will go to the analyze. After that, compare means, and then the paired sample t-test. Most of the students are confused when they find this type of window. Please, you don't worry. So here you can find out the first pair, variable 1 and the variable 2. After that, you click OK, and then you will get the result. Okay. Next, we will find the paired sample t-test, whether it is significant or not. Okay. Since the data are same, so you will find that test and the retest mean difference is 0. So naturally t-value is 0. DAP is 29 because 30 observations are there. And there is no question of significance. So this is the paired sample t-test. Now I am coming to the non-parametric approach. What is the non-parametric approach? Is it visible, non-parametric approach?
Yes, sir, non-parametric.
Okay. So in SPSS,
Sir, you are not audible to me.
Mute. Hello.
Yes, sir, now you're audible, but till now there was no voice. I don't know whether it is with me or with everyone. Because I have some network issues today, but I could not hear anything till now.
Everyone, sir.
Earlier one you have seen?
Only t-test, sir.
Okay. This is the non-parametric. Whether I have discussed this one?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Acha, independent t-test. I think you have understood, right?
Yes, sir. Independent test.
So this is the non-parametric t-test. And you have to click the legacy dialog. First, you have to click the non-parametric test, then the legacy dialog. After that, you have to click the K independent sample. Here it is written 2 independent sample. Please do not click it. You will click the K independent sample in legacy dialog. So whenever you want to study the pre-post experimental design data, then you have to follow this model. Okay. You have to click the K independent samples. Next will be you have to indicate what is your dependent variable. So this dependent variable is called the test variable. You have to select the test variable there, and next is the grouping variable. Here I have selected gender as the grouping variable. So 1 and 2. After that, you click the median. Next, you will get this data. You will get the frequencies. So median is the cutoff point. You can find out 9 people among the male. They are greater than median. And less than equal to median is the 11 people. And among the female, 5 people, they are above the median and 5 are less than or equal to median. And next, this is the test statistics. Okay. And the significance level, here it indicates 1.00. Median is 4.00 and it is 1.00. That means there is no significant difference between the two groups with respect to the self-awareness. So this is the non-parametric test. Here we can use the Wilcoxon sign rank test. The two groups are there. One is the test, another one is the retest. Just like dependent t-test or paired sample t-test. you have to follow the same format. Only you have to click the Wilcoxon sign rank test. So next, you have to click, and then you can find out whether there is any mean difference or not. Since the here data is hypothetical data and the data is similar, therefore you do not find any change in the mean. But in actual situation, you will find the mean difference is there. Again, you will find the standard deviation that will be different. And this is the rank. In both cases, rank is 5, but in your actual case, you may find different ranks. And based upon that, you can tell that is whether the test and retest is similar or not. And here you can find out the result. The Z value is 0.00. That means there is no difference between the two sets of data. Since there is no such difference, so there is no question of any significance. But here the result shows that there is no significant difference between the two groups. And here you can find out the two-tailed. Kavita, now you can find out two-tailed test here in case of the paired sample. Okay. So today you have learned both the parametric and the non-parametric approach of t-test, independent t-test, as well as the paired t-test. And here you can find out that is, in case of the parametric t-test, you are using the metric data. The format is same for the parametric and non-parametric. Only thing, in case of the non-parametric, you are using the Wilcoxon sign rank test. And here you are giving importance on the median. Median is your cutoff point. So based upon the median value, you are basically comparing the two sets of data. Suppose you want to examine effect of training, then you can follow this particular statistical test.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes, Anthony.
Sir, this one will cause and something you're telling us, sir.
Yeah.
Will it be applicable for my study, sir? That the other one we discussed the other day.
Yeah, definitely. Only thing that is If you find your distribution does not follow the normal
Sir,
distribution,
sir.
then you can use this Wilcoxian sign rank test. So
Right, sir.
initially you have to find out whether your data follows the normal distribution, whether there is any skewness or not. If there
Sir,
is
sir.
any skewness, then you have to think about the robust statistic that is called the median value,
Right, sir. Right, sir.
because the median is not affected by the outlier,
Sir,
but mean is affected by the outlier.
sir, sir.
Therefore, in your case, you can think about the Wilcoxian sign rank test.
Right, sir.
That
Right,
is
sir.
possible.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Anthony. Any other question? Always keep in mind that you have to give much emphasis on the research design. Always keep in mind. Statistics is important, definitely, but research design is most important. That is how you have provided the training. What is the training content? How many times you have collected the data? All those things are very important. I personally have used paired sample t-test in case of the Antarctica expedition. That is whether the state anxiety changes across the two different periods. That is going to the Antarctica during stay in Antarctica, return from Antarctica. And I have noted very significant difference. Okay. Therefore, this is my suggestion. Always give importance on the research design. I collected data from the expeditioners on 15th day of each month. Through the Spielberger state anxiety inventory. Is it clear? So for your research, you can select only one group, maybe the male or the female. After that, you can assess the retest data. In case of the Anthony, this is my suggestion. you can do analysis about the correlation statistics.
Sir, that training one, na, sir?
Yeah, among the variables
Sir.
before training and after training,
Sir.
whether there is any change or
Yes.
not.
Namaskar, sir.
Sir.
So this thing is important in your study. Sophie, is it clear? Shreyoshi, Kavita, Dakshi?
Yes, sir. I have to practice some more. That's it.
Yeah, you have to practice. That is true. And whatever the data I have given you, based upon that, you can practice. No problem.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We are arranging some mentors. So if you think that is you will work under the mentor, and because the mentor is in the field of psychology, and she has told me, sir, please you give me the psychology students. So if you want to work under the mentor, so that mentor can guide you how to write the dissertation. So please you refer your name to Ankit. One mentor I get, she is a professor of one college in Mumbai. Once upon a time, she was with RPRIT for some training program. And I have got another mentor. He told me that is, I have no problem. I can handle the mixed group. So please you refer your name to Ankit. In the next month, we have to write down the dissertation. Okay. Shreyoshi, Sophie, it is clear?
Yes, sir.
So you will be guided by the mentor as per her time. You have to attend my class and also her class. Ankit, it is clear? Okay, now I am closing the session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody. If you have any question, you can write in the WhatsApp.
Thank you, sir.